He's Al Michaels, the voice of Sunday Night Football, also co-hosting. We split some time there. Spent a lot of time together in London. And I said this when I got back. It was an honor to be able to host the Olympics, but to be able to work next to Al, who couldn't have been more genuine and generous with his time. And we had a lot of fun moments. And now Al joins us, and it's your turn, Al, to say something nice about me.
You'd be sick of me by now. But in the interest of journalistic integrity, I happened to catch the show on Tuesday when you were talking about going out to dinner after we get off the air.
Yeah.
And you talked about Strata. Now, that was the only restaurant that was open. Remember, I was going to Strata with you guys at night at gunpoint. Because the only thing they had there was a spinach salad, which our buddies Sam Flood and Bruce Kornblatt were salivating over. And you had no problem with it, neither did Pierre Maguire. But for me, there was nothing to eat there. So I want people to understand that Strata at Canary Wharf is like a D-.
Well,
and I needed to get that only in the essence of journalistic integrity.
All right. I expect nothing less from you, but it was the only restaurant that was open late at night when we got through with our coverage.
Correct. Yeah. But apart from that, the trip was fantastic. And it was great to work with you. It was terrific. I love your invitations. You did one of them this morning on the show. I saw that, which was since you could be the next Rich Little. I mean, if you really
do you do any impersonations, Al?
Well, I used to do Cosell, but it's now reaching the point, Dan, where it's like a generation and a half has come and gone since Cosell was there. So I could dine out when I do a speech or a speaking engagement or whatever. I could break into a Cosell imitation and people would love it. But now it's like, half the audience looks at me like, what? Cool? So I got to get upgraded here.
All right, well, give me a little bit of Cosell. Can you do that just for the audience who will appreciate this?
Yeah, of course. Hello again, everyone. This is Howard Cosell reporting from St. Louis. Now, I don't understand what the Yankees did last night. I was looking at the paper. And for some crazy reason, they fell behind 3-0 in the third inning and refused to bring Goose Gossage into the game. So this was, in essence, not only what Cosell sounded like, Dan, but having worked a lot of Monday Night Baseball with him, Cosell felt when he was at the game, the team, no matter what it was, it could be May 7th in an irrelevant game, but if he was there and the Yankees trailed 3-0, he wanted to know why Billy Martin wasn't bringing Goose Gossage into the game at that point. So it was it was interesting in the sense that one night we're doing a game with in Houston, and it's me, Cosell, and Bob Uecker, and Uecker is trying to get Cosell off the hook because Howard wanted a bunt called for in a situation where you'd never call for a bunt. And so Uecker mildly chides him on the air, and Cosell chides Uecker back by saying, all right, I get the point. You don't have to be so truculent. You do know what truculent means, don't you? And without hesitating, Uecker says, Howard, of course, if you had a truck, and I bought it, it would be a truculent. Then you have a little sky play with me and Cosell and Uecker from days of yore.
How would Cosell do a Cosell style or Cosell himself in today's media?
Well, he has spawned a bunch of imitators, and what made Howard at that particular point is that he was one of the few people who would, as he'd love to say, tell it like it is, even though there were many, many times when Howard had his favorites. And when Howard was doing Monday Night Football, this is before, I go to Monday Night Football, and I only did baseball with him, not football. Howard, he loved Al Davis. And when they went into Oakland before the Raiders are moving to Los Angeles and the place is going crazy, the Raider fans are unbelievably upset. It's a lame duck year. And he refused to get on Al Davis's case for moving to Los Angeles. Whereas if there was an owner that he couldn't stand, which were most owners at that particular time, he'd be killing him on the air. So, Howard could play the game as well as anybody.
We're talking to Al Michaels, NBC Sports, the voice of Sunday Night Football. Now, we start out with Wednesday with the Giants and the Cowboys. Jason Witt, we don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to play with the injured spleen. Expectations for the Giants as defending Super Bowl champs and the Cowboys. Higher expectations, in your opinion, nationally, not with their just local markets.
Well, remember the Giants. The Giants have done 2 times in the last 5 seasons something miraculous at the end. So, and Giant fans, I said this before, they could dine out on 07 forever, and now they got another one to dine out on. So the Giants have won 2 Super Bowls over this period of time when they, just barely get into the playoffs and wind up beating New England. So I'm not sure the expectations are that high for that team. Now, for the Cowboys, they're always high. It's always like, when is this going to happen? And so it's no different this year. But all of a sudden now they've got some injuries, and you've got the Witten situation, and Austin's been hurt as well, and Will Romo do it. The one thing we know about the Cowboys, they're the most fascinating team going into a season to watch, because they are a team, and this is as well as anybody. You either love them or you hate them. But there's a lot of emotion that surrounds the Cowboys, not only in Dallas, but around the country. And that translates for us into golden ratings. You can't go wrong with the Dallas Cowboys on national television.
Okay, but looking forward to that matchup or the Steelers against the Broncos on Sunday night?
Both. I mean, look at how's that for opening up the season? Cowboys-Giants, which under any circumstance is a wonderful matchup for us. And in a situation where the Giants are the defending champs. And remember, the last regular season game that was played was Dallas and the Giants on that Sunday night, January 1st, which put the Giants into the playoffs and sent the Cowboys home. So here we go again. We start the way we finished. So you have that. You have the opening game. People are excited. And then you go to Denver, and we're all wondering about Peyton, obviously, and against Roethlisberger and Pittsburgh. So that on its own would be a tremendous matchup. And, the funny thing is, without mentioning Tebow, because here we go again. Now we go back to Tebow. Even had Tebow remained and Peyton not gone there, we probably would have done that as a Sunday night opener if people wanted to see Tebow.
Well, then you would have the rematch of the playoff game.
Precisely. So it's a funny thing, everybody politics for their games, and I know that our group was looking at that game, and even before Peyton goes there, and saying, that's a great way to open up Sunday night. Can Tebow do it again?
I know you got when's the Stanley Cup going to be in your possession?
I think it's the second Thursday in September. I get the Stanley Cup for 4 hours. I can't believe, Tim Leiweke is the president of this game. And this is what happens when you have season tickets for 19 years. And I think you and I did an interview during the Stanley Cup Finals where I said, I think you asked me how much money I'd spent on season tickets over that course of time, and it came out to something like $340,000. So that's my investment in the Los Angeles Kings, and I get 4 hours with the Stanley Cup in return. I'll take it. Sounds
good. Hey, are you going to play golf now?
I am not. I have a couple of things I have to deal with today, and there's a tournament at the club, and I'm not in it. So I'm waiting for you to come back out here. So instead of you playing in the Rick Neuheisel game, which is a very, as you know, high-priced game where, you might have had to mortgage your house, you'll play with me for $20 the next time you're out here.
Had fun in London, Al. We'll talk during the season, and thanks again.
It was great fun, and, John Madden always used to say, let's go out and make a memory. That was a great memory for all of us.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, Dan. Take care, buddy.
All right, Al Michaels, NBC Sports.